Did you have this experience repeatedly in 2023 where you would meet a woman, have a conversation, thought it went really well, but then when you went to text her, she wasn't keen to meet up again? She said she didn't feel the spark. Or maybe you even went on a date with a girl that you met from online dating, and again, you thought you guys had a good vibe going on. But again, when you try to text her, she says, I didn't really feel the spark. I didn't really feel the chemistry. And you're like confused. Like, what does that even mean? Women are not taking you seriously and they end up ghosting you. In today's video, I want to show you how to eradicate that problem. Okay. I'm also going to give you an exercise at the end that consists of 3 questions that you can use to help increase your attraction towards women. So if you don't know who I am, my name's Daniel, and I help guys become men they can be proud of, who attract women they're proud to be with. And if you're joining this fight, if you're taking a stand for masculinity in this crazy world, do me a favor and hit the subscribe button to show that you're a force for good in the world. And let's jump straight into the video. Okay, so when it comes to attraction and what women are feeling, this is something that I battled with intimately throughout my life growing up. I was the typical, what you'd call nice guy, you know? I was just trying to make friends with women that I would see because I thought that was the way to cause attraction, to cause a girl to develop a crush on you, to cause a girl to really like you, because I would see that these girls would complain about these boyfriends or the men that they were hooking up with. They'd be like, this guy's an asshole. Should always be complaining about something that he was doing, even at a very young age, teenage age. So because I didn't understand attraction, I would just look at it very logically. Okay, she's complaining about how this guy's behaving. So that means to be the guy that she actually wants, I need to be the opposite. I don't want to do the things that this man is causing in her, which is obviously now I understand very silly, because what a woman says she wants versus actually what she gets attracted for are usually 2 different things. And she'll say that on the surface, like, oh, I don't like it when a guy does this, this, and this. But then that's the guy she keeps going back to again and again. So we have to differentiate, first of all, like, what a woman says she's attracted to versus what she actually goes for. This is why it can be sometimes very dangerous to ask women for their advice. If they're not conscious, if they're not aware, they'll say, oh, I like this, this, and this. And then you do those types of actions and she doesn't even give you the time of day. And then she's always hooking up with a guy who's doing the complete opposite of that. So if you've fallen into that trap before, don't worry, brother, you're not alone. I've been there too. And we just want to move away from that. So what is the basic assumption? It's like, okay, well, if we have all these similarities, if we have all these interests, that's what causes attraction. But it's not, because similarities is the basis for a friendship. If you have a friend that you hang out with that you're not attracted to, a guy, you probably have a lot in common. You like both going to the gym, you know, you have similar views and interests on the world. That's what causes a friendship in the beginning. But you don't only have things that you agree with all the time. Hopefully, if you're actually an integrated man, you also have things you can disagree with your friend. You have differences in points of view, and you're okay with that. It doesn't mean the friendship ends. But all of a sudden, when you're around women, you start to act different. You think, oh, the way to get her to like me, or the way that causes attraction, is like, oh, you went to Spain on holidays? No ways. I also went to Spain on holidays. And that's a one-way ticket to the friend zone, not to attraction. Now, does that mean you can never have things that are in common with the girl? Absolutely not. It's great to have things that are in common, but don't think that that's what's causing the attraction. Don't think that that's going to solve all of your problems. Think of it like polarity. So I like to teach what I call purposeful polarity. So if you look at this thing, a little remote, on the left-hand side is a polarity. On the right-hand side is a polarity. Somewhere in the middle is in the middle. Now, this is what I like to call the impotent zone. This is where a lot of men operate. They're in this impotent zone where it's like they're not too much in this way and they're not too much in that way. They're just trying to play it safe. Another name for the impotent zone is the safe zone. Okay, cool. How can I just play it safe in the zone so I don't disagree with her, so she doesn't ever get angry at me, she doesn't ever call me funny names, but at the same time, she doesn't ever really like me either? Because this is what polarity is. It's like, one second, some people might really not like you, and other people absolutely love you. That's polarity. If you're living your life as an authentic man, you should have this happen in your experience. You don't have to go out of your way to be an asshole or anything like that. If you just stay true to your authentic views, you will naturally be polarizing. A few years ago, there was a thing that happened that shut down the world and you were put in lockdowns. Did you have a viewpoint on that? Did you stand true to your viewpoint on that? Or did you play it safe depending on which people's companies you were in? That was a very polarizing thing to happen in the world, and people had a lot of polarizing views. The point is to own your views, because how this ties back to attraction is attraction is sparked when there's tension. Tension is sparked when there's disagreement, where the girl says, "Oh my gosh, I love South America. It's such a beautiful place." And I say, "I actually went there. I think South America is pretty lame." It's like, what? Disagreement, tension. Now, I'm not disagreeing just to cause tension, but when two people naturally meet, there will be things they naturally agree on. And the nice guy is so fake. It's like he's like a chameleon. It's like he's always agreeing. He speaks to this person. This person likes Donald Trump. He agrees with them. He speaks to this person. They like Joe Biden. He agrees with them. Or it at least seems like that. He's in that agreement energy. He's not to say like, "Dude, I love you, but I think that's a fucking stupid view. And I'm just going to say it, but you're still my friend." Like, that's the level of disagreement, a little bit of tension, a little bit of conflict. But then people know you're real. Then people know you're authentic. Okay, we live in a world of polarity, and this is how attraction's based. Just like in the world, we have hot, cold, high, low, light, dark. These are all polarity. It's part of the natural world, but men don't implement this in their attractions with women. Just like you have light, dark, hot, cold, up, down, left, right. But when guys are interacting with girls, they're like, they're not too hot, but they're not too cold. They're just always in this lukewarm type of mode of being. And women aren't attracted to that. That same guy, that woman's like, "Oh my gosh, that guy's such an ass." That's the same guy she's like loving to be with. A great pop culture example of this is Andrew Tate. And I'm not getting into like, do you agree or disagree with him or that kind of stuff. That's a talk for a different day. But he is a very polarizing figure. He has certain views on the world, on religion, on women, on what it means to be a man, and he sticks to those views. And what you do is you create raving fans, people that absolutely love him. I know a guy who lives with me who's got a tattoo of Andrew Tate on his leg, and he also has people on the other end of the spectrum that hate him, that think he's the devil, that think he should rot in a prison cell. That's polarity. Okay, you probably have a lot of women who think he's the biggest misogynistic ass in the world, and you have a lot of gorgeous women like models, supermodels, blowing up his DMs, would love to hang out with him for the weekend, and have him bang her brains out. Do you have women like that in your life? Are you that kind of man where some girls like, "That guy's such an asshole"? Not that you were trying to be, but you were just being authentic. And then you have other girls who are like blowing you up at 2 o'clock in the morning because they want to come over to your house and jump in your bed with you. That's the experience of a polarizing man. This is not even just with women. Okay, I went and started my own business as a dating coach. A lot of people from my old company, a lot of family, friends, like, "What are you doing? This is disgusting," like all this type of stuff. And I also helped some guys meet and marry their wives who they have kids with, lose their virginities, in dry spells of months where they hadn't been intimate with a woman. And now all of a sudden they're getting experiences with women, sexual experiences over and over again. That's the world of polarity. Some people think I'm an idiot. Other people love me. That's what it is to be a man. I'm not trying to go out of my way, but when I listen to my heart and I'm authentic to myself, that just naturally occurs. Okay. When you're out walking and doing your groceries and you see that beautiful woman, you're like, "Wow, it'd be cool to talk to her." That's polarity. That's being a man. Some girls are going to fucking love that and be like, "Oh my gosh, thanks so much for coming to talk to me." And other girls are going to be like, "Not into it." That's okay. You have to live your life from the inside. What do you want to do versus looking at the world? That's how most people, "What should I believe? Or what should I do in this situation? Oh, don't you know it's wrong to approach women?" Who said that? You got implanted a belief from the outside, and that is pushing you down. It's influencing your life versus what do I want? What do I want to achieve? What do I want to experience? And am I living in accordance to that? Here's the final thing when it comes to can you create tension and therefore attraction over a long term because you're polarizing is, do you avoid conflict and difficult conversations? That's a classic nice guy sign. Avoid conflict and difficult conversations. Well, it's not the conversation what you're actually avoiding. What you're actually avoiding is the tension that the conversation produces. But if you're uncomfortable with tension, then you can never create sexual tension with women, and you'll always battle with attraction. These things are interlinked. Okay. It's so easy to stand out today in the world because so many men don't do this. Be purposefully polarizing. How do you do that? I'll give you 3 simple questions. Number 1, get clear on your beliefs about the world, about travel, about work, about purpose, about health and fitness, about relationships. Even if you're not sure, just put something down and say, this is what I believe. I believe that people should go out there and travel the world and see beautiful places. I don't believe they should be stuck in a 9 to 5 waiting for their 21 days leave at the end of the year. That's what I believe. Now, some people are going to be like, wow, that's awesome. And some people are going to be like, that's dumb. You should get a job. Cool. But I'm clear on my beliefs. And whether I'm talking to a pretty girl or a friend or a random stranger, I will stick to those beliefs. That's number 1. Number 2 is, what do you value? What's important to you in life? Is it connection? Is it growth? Is it pushing out your comfort zone? Is it going on amazing adventures? What is that for you? Number 1, are you living in alignment with your own values? And number 2, are you okay communicating that with other people, even when they disagree with you? Most men have no idea what their viewpoints are, what their values are. So they're like a leaf in the wind. They're very watery. And women want to feel something solid. They don't like watery men who are this man today and that man today. They're all wishy-washy and all over the place. You need to get clear on this. And this can change. You don't have to stick with the same beliefs and values your whole life, but be a stand, because that provides strength. The girl's like, wow, this guy's solid. That means I can rely on him. I can be safe in his presence. But if you're all wishy-washy, the girl doesn't feel that sense of safety. She can't let her guard down, and that's when arousal comes up. Okay. And number 3, well, when it comes to number 3, and finally, number 3 is, once you have your beliefs and your values, having the courage to stand by them. A lot of people have them, and then it's a situation where it's like, oh, I shouldn't say it here, I shouldn't say it here, and then they keep it to themselves. That's not really having conviction. That's not being a man who stands for something. That's being a coward. That's showing zero courage because you're scared of the consequences of what might happen. So again, when you're on a date with a girl, when you're talking with a girl, see something she says and be like, I don't really agree with that. Say you don't agree with it. You don't have to be mean. You don't have to put her down. You say like, wow, that's really interesting, but I totally disagree with that. And just let that tension arise. She will be like, wow, this guy's a backbone. He's not just saying something just to get in my pants like all the other guys. She might disagree with you in the moment and you think, oh, this is bad. She's disagreeing with me, but it's not. She's seeing that you're your own man and someone that's a leader who's not going to flip and flop based on what she says. And those are the men she wants to be with. Those are the men that woman would crawl over broken glass to be with. And I want you to be that man. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Again, if you enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button down below to be a stand in the force for masculinity in the world today. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.